as a record keeping tool, these things, that the way that they allow you to go back and see what you did last week, you know, they sort of, and you can constantly inform the decisions you're making based on what you've done in the past.
Right.
So whereas if you've got that in a notebook that sits in the corner of your room, you know, you forget that sort of stuff. Whereas this thing here, you look at it every day and you scroll down and then you remind yourself, oh, that's right, I worked that out last week. And so from that perspective, it, you know,
and traditionally when you write something down, you know, a notebook, the tutor will read it at the end of the project and they mark it. But in terms of this, you can write something down and tutors and other students can comment on it immediately. And then it affects your project in that way.
So more real time sort of thing.
I think there's two other things. I think one thing is that there are some students who don't necessarily present very well but write very well. There are some students who do the opposite. So it's about choice. I don't think it's about any one thing. I think it's about having a number of tools. It's like a tool to go in your toolbox. You know, it's a number of, and this is one of the tools that you can use. I think the other thing is that I think everyone would agree that being a designer or being involved in the design professions, being able to produce good work is one proportion of being able to get a job or being employed as a designer. And there are many other things that you have to be good at to be able to get that employment. And one of them is marketing yourself, you know, building your own brand and you know, and your own philosophy around what you do. And this actually helps do that. It also helps you get your work in front of a much wider audience than it does just being in a room with the same people all the time. Whether that's going to happen in the first instance is debatable, but I think over a longer period of time, the feedback from a wider audience will happen. And with the live projects that we've been doing, we find it quite difficult. This whole group, not just the people in here, but the whole year is split into 3 groups, and they're working with 3 external clients. The blog gives the opportunity for the client to comment on the project as it's going along, in the same way as Steve just said the staff can. Now, trying to get clients to do that is another thing. Again, you know, we're having to educate clients and saying, well, look, you know, you can look back and you can use this as a way of communicating with the students. So I think it's an ongoing process. I think maybe in a year or even 2 years, that the question you've just raised will probably have a much tighter answer than it's currently got.